Happy 2026, everyone. It was very interesting. 2025 and 2026 will be a great year of growth and learning here at Be Confident in Your Faith. I have a couple of announcements, so let me tell you briefly what's going on and let's see if you can help. And then if you're interested, you can watch the full video for further details. So the first announcement is we'll be doing the Torah of Matthew, or the Gospel of Matthew, verse by verse study, and looking for a panel of 5 people needed to participate in this free study. So the second announcement is we'll be doing a biblical Hebrew class, free biblical Hebrew class starting in January 2026. Sundays, we'll be looking for 5 people to participate there. And the third and last announcement is the free Bible study, Introduction to Torah. It's basics for us non-Jews. I'll be looking for 10 people for this short study. Again, free. All of these opportunities, you'll find the registration links in the comments. And also, if you're interested in more information, then click on the video link to see the full video with all the details. And I hope to see you in one of these classes. So now let's get a little more into the details of these opportunities. So the first announcement we talked about was the verse by verse Matthew study, and that's really exciting. I'll be doing a collaboration with another channel, and we'll be going verse by verse through the Torah of Matthew, or the Gospel of Matthew. And so we're going to be looking for 5 people that would be interested in participating in the first part of the study. And we'll be doing different sections, but participating means that we'll be interacting with this panel with our Matthew verse by verse material while relying on the panel to keep us honest by asking us questions and having discussions with the material that we're presenting and the new concepts that we're presenting. And we'll in turn take these questions and we'll be sure to include them in our follow-up videos for the Matthew study to help the full audience grow in understanding, because the whole point is to do these Matthew verse by verse videos and make it palatable with these new concepts that we'll be presenting, because, sometimes when you've been working with the same material for a long time, you forget that you at one time didn't know what these concepts meant. You didn't know the definitions of certain words. So we forget that. And that's why we need that panel to keep us honest. So if you're interested in considering new concepts and you are a lover of the Gospels, the Besarot, please register in the link, which you'll find below in the notes section. And why do we say new comments? We will be introducing the notes that we learned from Rav Bernstein in this verse by verse study. So if you always wanted to understand the Jewish perspective of the Gospels, we have our notes as it was presented to us by a Jew, Rav Bernstein. So don't hesitate to register. You don't have to accept it. We're just presenting it for your consideration. Okay, so announcement number 2 is the biblical Hebrew class, free. I'm looking for 5 people that are interested in learning biblical Hebrew. This is a free class, and you'll find the registration in the link below. We'll be learning the Hebrew letters, the vowels or sounds that the letters make with the vowels, and we'll be doing that by actually reading the Bible in Hebrew. The first verse, actually, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, we'll be reading, or Bereshit or Perek Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. So yeah, you will be reading the Bible in its original language from the first class. So this is for free, and I'm looking for 5 people that are interested. We have 3 Sundays available to do this class, and we'll be doing this in 3 consecutive Sundays. So if that's something you can do, please register. We'll get the exact times and all as needed. But right now, if that sounds like something interesting to you, let me know. First off, before we get going any further, you got to know there's going to be homework and class interaction is expected. So if this is a New Year's resolution for you to learn biblical Hebrew and that sounds good to you, register at that link below. And let's get started. You'll be reading Biblical Hebrew in January 2026 already. And isn't that amazing? Just so you kind of know where I'm at. I've completed my second class out of 4 from the Jewish Theological Seminary. I took a pause on that. Life happens. So, but I will be looking to complete my certification in Biblical Hebrew. But I've completed 2 classes under Rabbi David Muster, and I'm telling you, what I'm teaching you is we didn't even cover it, because it's assumed you already know. When you start classes at the Jewish Theological Seminary, it's assumed that you already know the letters and the vowels and you can read. My focus is to help people get started reading and understanding concepts. Through understanding concepts, they have to go together, because trust me, it will land much better if you start learning Biblical Hebrew with concepts attached as you're reading it. But if you're interested in getting a certificate or anything of this nature, you will need to know how to read and know what the letters are and things of this nature. Because at the Jewish Theological Seminary, they just get right into it. And personally, I'm still learning Syriac Aramaic. I'm going to share some details where I'm learning that from, although I did quite a bit on my own. And you can see there's the Peshitta here. I don't quite have an update on when I'll be doing a class for the Aramaic, but I'd like to be teaching a free course on that as well, so we can start looking into the New Testament and reading in Aramaic, but I'll keep you posted. But the good news is, so you can see there, that's the Syriac. But once we get you going in Biblical Hebrew, we've already done a great deal of the work to get you to the next step, so we can begin reading the Gospels in Aramaic. But like I said, that will be coming to a theater near you, as I'm aiming for a much later one date this year. So be on the lookout for me requesting a free panel for that as well, or class. All of you that participate in these panels and classes are such a help to us all, because it just makes sure that we're going in the right direction on our channel. So just thank you. I'll be looking for a group of 10 people that are curious about the Torah and how it's set up and why the books are in a different location than what you have in your, say, King James Bible or whatever you're using. Why is Nehemiah in the middle of King James, but towards the end in the Torah or the Tanakh? So, questions like, how can we use the Tanakh or the Jewish Bible in our studies? Should I purchase one? What online resources are there? How do I use them? Like if you're using Safaria, or maybe you're interested in Torah. There's so many of them. So this class is for anyone that's new to learning Torah. You might be a Noahide. Maybe you're even new to Christianity, or you started in the Messianic movement and you don't understand what they're talking about. Then this is a great introductory class for you. It's free and you get to ask all of your questions. I have been in the Messianic movement, but I'm back to non-denominational Christianity. And I prefer to visit the synagogue, which we can talk about as well. And when I say synagogue, I mean not a Messianic synagogue, a good old-fashioned Ashkenazi, Sephardi synagogue where it's all in Hebrew. And that's where I prefer to go. I'm not in the Messianic movement, and I don't go to regular church as we know it. I'll tend to visit the synagogue. So when I do go somewhere. But the point is, how will you ever know if you don't ask questions? So please check the notes for the registration links for these free classes, and I look forward to seeing you there.